So I think I had the mic turned off just there, which was obviously retarded. If anybody can hear now, that would be great. Like I say, this is my very first time ever streaming live, and I think I mucked it up. I think I didn't have the mic on for the first whole bit of this stream. I don't know how long I've been on, but I'm pretty sure I had the mic off. So that was not a smart move on my part. And I think it's working now, but I can't really tell. Ah, great. So, thanks for that, Lewis, and hi, Hectic. Yeah, so it turns out I had the mic off. Well, it's my first time. I'll start again from where I left off. Well, from where I started. So, basically, I'm looking at the armies here for the 63 start. So we're going to be starting the 1863 start really soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. I'm not sure. It depends how much time I've got. But so I just want to have a basic overview of what's going on at the start of the game in 63, and then kind of have a little think about strategy and what we're going to do. So it's a tough spot to start in here, this game. So the Union has got 373,000 in the field, and we've got 232,000. So we're already 100,000 men down on the Union, which is substantial. The main plan that I've got going on is to be pretty aggressive in the west if we can be. Down here we need to see if we can neutralise some of these Union troops. However, the numbers make it tough. I mean, this is going to be a hard job. In terms of who we have, we've got the Trans-Mississippi Department over here, which is kind of divided into 4 corps, give or take. And there's only 24,000 men under Kirby Smith, so we have the District of the Indian Territory over here, 4,700 men under Steele, which, you know, that's not really a viable force other than for raiding into the north, which is probably what I'll use those guys for. And then we have the District of Texas again, which is 2,000 men, and I think they're all cavalry under Magruder. Magruder down here with these guys, I mean, what's he going to do? Not that much. We'll try and counter any Union invasion into Texas, I suppose, and we'll strengthen them up. As well as that, we've got Richard Taylor's army of Western Louisiana, almost 9,000 men. These guys are going to be an important force for us, for sure. Yeah, Hectic says you need 2-to-1 casualty ratios. Yes, we definitely do. 2-to-1, 3-to-1, something like that. Which, you know, that's a tough ask when you're outnumbered, but we'll try. The Army of East Louisiana we've got as well here, 6,700 men under Gardner. So these two forces are not bad, so we're going to have about 15,000 there. However, the Union has the 19th Corps at New Orleans with almost 22,000, so you can already see the numbers are crazy. If we're looking a bit closer in here around Port Gibson, the Union has substantial forces in the Army of the Tennessee. So 75,000 men total, spread into a few corps. The 15th Corps here, 17,500 men. The 17th Corps, 20,000. And 16,000 men in the 13th Corps. So each one of these corps is more than these two guys combined down here. But we also have the Vicksburg garrison, which is 10,000 men under Smith. I mean, that's not a huge force, but it's alright. The Army of Mississippi. This is the main force down here. And I think the Vicksburg garrison is actually part of that army. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, so Pemberton is in overall command. He's got Stevenson's division with him. He's got Bowen's division and Loring's division. So about 20,000 are with Pemberton. And then 10,000 men make up the garrison of Vicksburg. So that's not a huge force to play with either. So we've got maybe 20,000 guys here, plus the Vicksburg garrison, so 13,000 max. Plus the 15,000 down here. So we'll have to hope that we can catch these Union Corps kind of one at a time if possible. What we got here, Hectic? Trying to build a navy. and defend in detail. Yeah, mass build steamships and monitors. Yeah, beating single Union fleets before retreating into the rivers. That will have to be what we do. I'll take a proper look at the Navy in a minute just to see what the deal is with the Navy. I've never played the 63 star either, so it should be an interesting one. So what are people's thoughts on this then in the Trans-Mississippi and the Mississippi River? I think this is going to be a tough ask to hold these guys back. 75,000 Union troops against maybe, I don't know, what do we have here? 30,000, 45,000 men. And these 75,000 men are between our two forces. So that's difficult. Let's take a look up here then. Let's have a look at Tennessee, see what's going on. We've almost been pushed out of Tennessee. So we're clinging on to the southern part of Tennessee here, the southeastern part. And we've got an army in eastern Tennessee as well, Knoxville, which is nice. But again, we're massively outnumbered. Where are we at here? I'm just trying to find the army headquarters. Where are we? Army of Tennessee. Okay, so Bragg, 45,000 men total. That's what we've got down here. Let's take a closer look at Bragg's army. I've got a few comments coming through from Lewis and Hectic. I'm trying to read them. It's not easy on here. Use the river to draw the enemy units. The main front is to save the east. Yeah, I get it, Hectic. That's kind of where we're at. Hey Dick, nice to see you here. Thanks for tuning in. Dick White, one of my channel members, much valued. Thank you very much. So Lewis, let's see what you're saying. I think your best bet in the Trans-Mississippi might be to concede ground but bleed them as much as possible. But maybe I'm more on the cautious side. No, well, Lewis, I think that's actually spot on. Because realistically, are we going to win a major battle in the Trans-Mississippi? Certainly not the way things are looking. Hi Carol, nice to see you here. Will I replace Bragg with Joseph E. Johnston? Yes, probably. Or maybe even Beauregard. I'll probably replace him with somebody because Bragg, he's not great. Although, like, to be fair, in game, he's not that bad. His administration of 4 is pretty handy. Leadership 1 is obviously terrible. Initiative 2, you know, what difference does that make in the game? I'm not sure. And Fame is on 3, but yeah, I'll probably end up replacing him with maybe Beauregard, maybe Johnston. I'm not sure yet. But I can't see Bragg staying in place. Same with Polk as well. I don't want Polk staying in. He's just useless. Van Dorn, he's going to go as well, I think. But I quite like Van Dorn as kind of an underdog, but he's crap. Forrest, I might give him like a bigger command. I might combine Van Dorn and his force together, and we'll send them on mass raid up into maybe Kentucky or somewhere. We'll see. But yeah, so anyway, we've got Bragg here with 45,000. I will probably end up replacing Bragg because, you know, he's crap and people don't really rate Bragg, and quite rightly too. Let's see, Carl, what are you saying here? For the Trans-Mississippi, you can send Hood's division or Ewell's corps to Mississippi, as was historically suggested. Yeah. I mean, troop transfer is something I'm thinking about as well. But, you know, it's one of them things. It's we've got to measure things up. We are outnumbered by 100,000 at the start of the game. So if you miss the beginning, that's where we're at. Yeah, Dick, I know you're not a big fan of Bragg at all, and I mean, who is really, to be honest. But yeah, he's got to go. So we've got 45,000 men here in the southern section of Tennessee, and we are facing the Army of the Cumberland, which is 58,000, so it's not quite as hugely outnumbered as in the Trans-Mississippi. So possibly we could strike a blow here, especially if we switch out some commanders and get some better guys in there. Maybe bring Claiborne up to command Polk's corps. I don't want Polk staying in command. Although again, in game he's not actually that bad, but I can't reconcile myself with having him there. Let's have a quick look at this force just next to Knoxville. So it's the Army of East Tennessee under Buckner. Now that's 15,000 men, and that's a sizable, decent force we've got there. We've got to be aware that the Union has troops up here in the north. So we've got the Army of the Ohio, the 9th Corps, the 23rd Corps. So again, like 20,000 or so troops. But I would say 15,000 Confederates can probably take on 20,000 Federals if they don't get massively reinforced with other troops. But, I mean, that's that. So, Tennessee is looking a little bit more promising than the Trans-Mississippi, which, I mean, the Trans-Mississippi and the Mississippi itself, I feel like Vicksburg is going to be a tough ask to hold. However, maybe if we can hit the 13th and 17th Corps independently without these guys joining as well, that could be a chance to win a big fight. But I'm really not holding my breath on that. Hectic says this would be an amazing multiplayer game. Imagine the overall, yeah, it'd be awesome. I've said this a few times. I don't know if any of you guys watched him, but I used to chat a lot to Brambra, who was really good at this game, and I used to enjoy his content, but he hasn't made any now for must be 18 months, 2 years. We always said it would be fun to play a 2-player game on this, but sadly it's not to be. But that would be awesome, having 2 humans commanding each other, you know, and going against each other. That would be awesome. Let's take a look to the east here. We'll start off down here. So we've got the District of Georgia, which I believe is part of Beauregard's force. Yeah. So Beauregard is in overall command of this kind of the Deep South, should we call it? He's got 14,000 men. Now, it would be tempting to move these guys out, and maybe we will move a couple of the brigades out from South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, but I mean, you've got to be careful because the Union could invade by sea, which obviously historically they did. Yeah, Dick, I hear you. Combine the Trans-Mississippi with the Mississippi forces to defeat them in Mississippi. That's obviously a plan, but they are between us, so we'll have to work that out somehow. Plus, they've got 20,000 men at Mississippi, at New Orleans. Sorry, couldn't think there. So yeah, I don't know, but that's clearly the only way we can do it. So maybe we'll have to pull up and combine our forces somewhere and then come down. I mean, realistically, that is the only way to do it, but how do we get past these guys to link our armies together? I'm not sure. We can maybe do it. Yeah, so Beauregard has about 15,000 men here in this area, but I mean, which seems like a lot, but really it's not that many. We've got troops already landed in, is this South Carolina? Yeah, in South Carolina there. So we've got 7,000 troops there, which we can probably kick back out of there, I think. I mean, unless there's more troops kicking around. They've also got the forts, of course, here, which are now manned. It was quite substantial garrisons. But yeah, so that's Beauregard's force down here. Yeah, difficult. Tough ask. And then let's have a look at the east. So the main kind of the premier fighting area, I suppose. What do we got going on? So yeah, we've got Lee's Army of Northern Virginia, of course, so 66,900 men. Hectic says we could sort of do it with you posting the battle map and we could plan it out in Discord. Well, I suppose we could. I think it'd be quite tricky to do, but well, it could be done. Anyway, let's have a look at the Army of Northern Virginia. What have we got? We've got 66,900 men. Let's call it 67,000 men. That's Longstreet's Corps with 20,080 guns. Ewell's Corps with 20,000 and about 80 guns as well. A.P. Hill's Corps with 21,080 guns. And then Stuart's Cavalry, 6,000 with 7 guns. These corps are divided into 3 divisions, well, 4 divisions with the artillery, 3 infantry divisions, 1 artillery division. That's like, I don't like that at all because the divisions are huge. It makes it much more difficult to maneuver, or it does for me anyway in this game. It's difficult to maneuver kind of 5 brigade units. I prefer mine to have 3 or 4 infantry units only, usually 3. So I'll reorganise these as well for getting ready to fight. If you haven't already requested a unit, by the way, if you want a unit named in game, then pop it in the comments here or stick it on wherever you want, and I'll read it and I'll name a unit for you. Just as a little tangent there. One good thing is that we do start with some decent weapons. So you've got the Fayetteville rifle here, for example, Enfield rifles, Mississippi rifles, Enfields again. Springfield rifle muskets, Enfield. So like you get the idea. There's some pretty good weapons going around. Springfield rifle muskets, Lawrence rifles, Richmond rifles, Mississippi rifles, and so on. So at least we're not starting from scratch exactly with everybody. I mean, there was a few musket armed troops dotted around. Yeah, there we are. So they've got Springfield muskets, but that's not bad. So overall, we do start with some decent weapons, and that is handy, because I was thinking hopefully we're not starting with mixed muskets all around, because that would be obviously garbage and not realistic either. But that's not how it is, and that's a good thing. So that's the armies, the overview of the armies. It's going to be a tricky one. It's going to be really tough. It's going to take careful planning, and we'll have to be selective when we're offensive in battles. That's for sure. So we can't just go running into fights. We definitely can't take on an offensive battle if we're heavily outnumbered, because if we lose one big battle, I think that's probably the end of it. Certainly in the Mississippi and Trans-Mississippi area, so we've got to be careful. But it should make for an interesting game, I think. Let's take another look at the military. Let's have a look at what we actually have. Have we got anything available, maybe, just to give out new recruits and things? I'm not actually going to start the game here. This is literally just an overview. I'll start the game properly, as I usually do. Like, recorded, if you know what I mean. It'll be quite difficult to do live, but I plan to do a lot more live streaming, because I think that's the way forward. I think people like live interaction. So we'll go ahead and do a live stream at least once a month or so as we're going through the campaign. But let's have a look what we've got. So we've got some Williams guns, 72 of them, nice. So if you don't know, these are like kind of small caliber, almost like machine gun type things, but they fire like a 1 pound ball, I think. So small cannonball, whatever the projectile is. I'm not an expert. A breech loading, rapid firing, small caliber gun, fired using hand crank. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's pretty nifty. So we've got 72 of those to give out. We've got some 12 pound howitzers, which are crap, but better than a kick in the teeth, I suppose. 12 24 pounders as well. And then we've got some Colt revolving rifles, 450, so not really anything. Enfield musketoons, and we can actually order these things as well. So Richmond muskets as well. We haven't got any, but we can't order them. 10 pounder parrots, again, we can't order. We've got 6 of them in stock. We've got some James rifles, but we don't have any, but we have them available, so that's also handy. Mississippi rifles, we've got 4,500 of those, and we've got 9,000 Springfield rifle muskets, so that's a nice little start, actually. So we've got almost 15,000 rifles there. The Fayetteville rifle, not available, unfortunately. Well, available, but we don't have any, if you know what I'm saying. 3,000 musketoons, 700 Plains rifles, some Whitworth rifles available to order, but not available in here. We could maybe order a few of those and hand them out. The Whitworths are awesome, long range and accurate. Richmond rifles as well, available to order, which are pretty decent rifles, kind of equivalent to the Springfields, I think. Certainly not much worse anyway. 12 pound Napoleons, we don't have any. 12 pound iron Napoleons, again, we don't have, but we can't order. 12 pound field guns, we've got 24 of those, and we've got 45,000 Springfield muskets, so I guess they'll be for our new recruits, who we'll bring in as they become available. So officers, these are the available guys, and like I say, we were discussing it before, Bragg's going to go, Polk's going to go, we'll replace them with some other guys who I'll have a look, see who's around and who we fancy putting in. I don't think anybody decent is free on here. Nah, these are, well, yeah, Maury's pretty good, so he's an option for going in somewhere. Major generals, and then brigadier generals. Who we got here? Ruggles, McGowan. Oh, he looks alright, actually, not too bad at all. Could definitely do a job as a brigade commander, I'm sure. Bate, solid commander. He'll go in somewhere. Frost, no thanks. Canty, again, he's solid, despite being a political officer. He'll definitely go in somewhere. John Hunt Morgan, yeah, look at the stats on him. Excellent commander. So we do have some guys available here in the lower general rung. So he's a brigadier general. We'll put them in somewhere. Some colonels here, highly experienced as well. Stafford, Bryan, Weisiger. Looking pretty solid. So we've got some really nice, good, solid brigade commanders here and the colonels and brigadiers, which is nice to see. Sibley? What do you mean, Sibley? Sibley's not great, is he? Where is he? Where on is this Sibley? Is Sibley being cashiered by this point, maybe? Yeah, I'm not seeing him. Maybe is he already gone by 63? Not sure. But he's not available. So, like I say, we've got some decent generals here, but no Sibley, unfortunately, Dick. Not sure what's going on with him. I don't know what he was doing at this point. After that Battle of Glorieta pass and whatnot. I would think he'd be kicking around somewhere though, but he's definitely not on here. Let me take a look here. So fleets. We don't have many fleets in the field. In fact, we've only got 5. And to call these fleets is a bit of a joke, really. So the James River fleet, let's have a little look in. James River fleet's right here. And it consists of... Let's have a little look. Yeah, Dick, I know Sibley's from Texas, but he's not in here, I'm afraid. I did do a search for his name, and he didn't come up at all. No sign of him. Which is... It is definitely odd. Oh, there he is. There he is. He was assigned already. So he's in charge of the Arizona Brigade in the Army of Western Louisiana. Were you asking just because you were wondering where he is, or did you want to do something with Sibley? I'm not keen on giving Sibley high command. Where is he anyway? There's Sibley's force right there. 1,200 men from Arizona. But back to the fleets here. So the James River Squadron. Let's have a little look. So we've got CSS Raleigh there, which is a tiny little ship's tender. CSS Beaufort, whatever you're saying. Another one of those. And then we've got 2 little, what do you call them, mortar schooners, which, you know, they're 3-gun ships, which basically are a waste of time. But we do have the CSS Richmond ironclad gunboat rams. That is a solid ships. Sibley's one of your favourites, Dick. Okay, well, I'm surprised to hear that. Not exactly overly effective, but, you know, each to their own. I do like that Sibley is referenced in The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. But yeah, so the James River Squadron, we've got 5 ships here. 1 decent one, 4 little backup ships, really. So maybe we can do something about that. Let's see who else we got. The Charleston Squadron, so obviously Charleston, South Carolina. Again, a little tiny gunboat tender, a little steamer. Then we've got a casemate ram. Nice. Ironclad gunboat ram and another one. So we've got 3 good ironclads down there. That's pretty awesome. It looks like a tiny fleet, obviously, but these are effective ships. So if we can back this up with another 1 or 2 ironclads, I think maybe we could do something with that. The Savannah Squadron, you know, it's 1 schooner. Mobile Squadron, we've got a couple of double enders, which, you know, they're not too bad. And 2 little steamer things with it, so nothing amazing. The Galveston Squadron, 2 little tiny cotton-clad gunboats, so 3-gun, tiny. Not really going to do all that much, if we're being honest. Yeah, we're not winning on the water, that's for sure, Dick. I just thought I would have a look to see what we have, which is not a lot. But we do have some ships actually in harbour, which look pretty decent. So we've got some timber-clad gunboats, 3 of those ready to go. Another one of these little CSS Dr. Beatty. Another tender. What else we got? We've got a steam sloop. A few gunboats. These are still in production, so kind of between 20 and 50% or so. So 3 gunboats in production. And then we've got a whole heap of ironclad rams. So we've got CSS Virginia on 25%, Tuscaloosa on 20%, Savannah on 70%, so they're nearly ready to go. Noise, not sure, 25%, Milledgeville, no idea, Muskogee as well, Huntsville, Fredericksburg. So that's pretty good actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ironclads in production. They might actually be useful, especially if we can band them together and use them together. What's this here? CSS Baltic, 17-gun ironclad river gunboat. Nice. Another useful ship. Another cotton-clad ram here as well. CSS Tennessee is another casemate ironclad in production. Excellent. And CSS Mobile, a little steamer. So that's good. We've got some decent ships on the go. Policies. We do have some stuff available as well. So Austrian rifles we could get. British artillery is almost full. That might be handy. Rifled artillery. What does that get us? The wired 6-pounder. 3-inch ordnance. Good as well. Powered rifles. It said we could already order them, so I'm not sure about that. Reboard muskets. Legacy rifles. Medium-range carbines, Sharps rifles. So we've got some decisions to make here on policies to take. Improvised shipyards, nice. In terms of the policies, we already have some things in place. So they've already printed notes twice, which is not good, which is, I guess, why we're on BBB Plus to start with. That's the credit rating. Government funding has been enacted. Agriculture King Cotton is on there, 1 and 2, and they've halted the cotton trade with Europe. Impressment's already happened. Government funding 2 might be one we look at next. We've opened up the Militia Act up to Militia Act 3, and we've also got conscription gone already. Letters of marque have been issued. We haven't done the regulars because what's the point? Diplomacy 3. Might be another one to look at. Speed up those weapons from Europe and things like that. But yeah, basically, that's the start. That's what we're looking at. The East. So this is my strategy ideas. The East will hold. I don't want to invade. Certainly not yet. I think Lee invading the North was a big mistake in July. I understand why he did it, but I think it was a mistake. It certainly was to fight the way he did at Gettysburg, which, you know, after Gettysburg, the Army of Northern Virginia's offensive capabilities were pretty diminished. I mean, did they take the offensive again in any meaningful way after that? I don't think so, but, you know, I could be wrong. But anyway, so we'll hold a defensive line in the East. That's usually my strategy. I think that usually works pretty well. Tennessee here, if we can knock one of these corps out, if we can catch them away from the others, that would be great. A large-scale battle would also be possible, I think, here, because we're not as hugely outnumbered as in other areas. So 58,000 they've got there, and what do we have? 45,000. That's a fight we could probably take, as long as we can inflict heavy casualties on the enemy. So 2-1, and if you've watched my battles in the past, then you'll know that that's not always something that I'm capable of, but I'll try. So this is going to be pivotal, this central area, this Tennessee area. If we can get a win here against this Army of the Cumberland, I think that would really shift the momentum. But saying that and doing it are two different things. The Trans-Mississippi and the Southern Mississippi area, yeah, I mean, certainly the plan will be to try and link these forces up together. Kind of just ignore the 19th Corps for the start, I suppose, and see if we can link our forces and get a win somewhere, if that's possible. I don't know if it is, but we'll certainly try. And then we've got 8,000 men here in Arkansas as well, at Little Rock. Maybe we can do something with those. Maybe we can swing around, hit Memphis or something. You know, I'm not sure if we can, but I don't see why not. We can certainly try. We've got some good raiding forces as well. Hey, Southern Ferrets, thanks very much for that. I appreciate it. Hopefully you're going to follow the series along when I start it properly. This is kind of just an overview of the coming campaign, which is going to be an 1863 start of Grand Tactician, the Civil War. Playing as the CSA, of course. Send to Vicksburg. So you reckon send Holmes to Vicksburg? Dick. I mean, sending Holmes to Vicksburg, yeah, it is definitely a possibility. It does leave us pretty open, though. But then, really, are we going to stop anything that's coming south through Arkansas? Probably not. So yeah, Holmes to Vicksburg could definitely be an option, or even Holmes to try and link up with the Army of Tennessee. Holmes at Little Rock there's not much point having him there, I don't think. Let's have a little look. Actually, I never thought to have a look what kind of recruits we have available. So have we got numbers available to actually bring in? 17,000 volunteers, so not great. So we do have 5,200 in Kentucky, but if we look at the state support at 35, which I think does that nerf those troops then if you put them in? Does that mean they start with 35? Morale, I'm not sure. 2,500 available from Missouri, so that would be a nice brigade, but again, they're on 40. It's not great. 3,500 from West Virginia, again on 40 though, so is it worth bringing those guys in? I'm not sure. Yeah, you're right, he's doing nothing in Little Rock except for sort of defending the area, but I mean, really, what's he doing there? What's the point of it? Yeah, so he's going to move from there, so that's 8,000 extra troops, which we need in Vicksburg, I guess, over Tennessee for sure. Although I could see, I like the idea of him pushing on Memphis or something, but really, is he going to be able to hold it? Or even if he takes it, he's not going to be able to hold it, is he? So it's probably a waste of time. So if we pull him across, maybe towards Helena to start with, and then bring him down towards Jackson and Vicksburg, that would be a good plan, I think. You can also send Hood if you are going to be defensive in the east. Yes. I will send troops from the east. I think I'll not send lots of troops, but like a division-size force, I suppose, maybe. Yeah. Where is Hood at this time? Oh, there he is. Hood's division, 7,000 men. That might actually be a good call to send to the west. Any thoughts on that? So if we send Hood's division, 7,200 men with 16 guns, that would be actually a pretty decent force to send there. Boys from Alabama, Texas, Georgia, and more guys from Georgia with some guns from North Carolina. That could be solid, actually. However, 7,000 men is 7,000 men, and we are facing huge forces in the east as well. It's something we'll have to weigh very carefully. So what have they actually got in the east here? I dread to think... Army of Washington, 9,000. Where's the army here? Oh, the Army of the Potomac. There we are. 75,000. All right, so not too bad, actually. I thought it'd be worse than that. We've also got the Department of Richmond, 4,600 men. I guess we better not move those guys from there, though, because we do have Union troops around. Peck's Command, nearly 20,000 there. Department of North Carolina on a DH Hill, 11,000. This could be a good scrap down here, I think. However, again, it's a risk. It's always a risk, isn't it? This game is always a risk when you're the Confederates. A lot of planning to do, a lot of thinking to do, and we've got to be careful. 18th Corps, North Carolina. I mean, do we think the AI in this game will land troops? I'm not sure. Do they do that? Does the AI ever do that in this game? Because if not, we could strip this place bare of troops, really. Like, do we need troops in Florida? Probably not, unless he's going to drop troops in here. But even if he does it matter if we lose bits of Florida? I suppose for support it will. What do you think about raising new troops from draftees? Do we stay away from that, or should we do that? I mean, there's not really much option if we want new troops, I suppose, because in terms of policies, there's not a whole lot left. Bounties, I suppose, but I don't know what that's going to do. Conscription Act 2. Increase the recruitment base by expanding the age limits for eligible males to include men from 17 to 50. I mean, that could be what we need to do. All enlistments are extended for an unlimited period. National morale -2. The recruitment base is increased while national morale suffers. Yeah. I mean, recruiting 17-year-olds and 50-year-olds, that's pretty desperate times. But maybe that's what we need to do. Because numbers-wise, we've got no chance in a straight-up fight anyway. We'll have to be smart. But anyway, so I think I'm going to call it here. I'd like to thank you all for joining. That was good for the first one. I mean, I know not millions of people watched or anything, but it's nice that a few of you guys did, and that's really awesome. I hope you all had a nice New Year's Eve, and all the best for the new year, and I'll see you when this kicks in properly. So thanks for watching, and like I say, if you are new here, subscribe, follow this along, and hopefully you'll request a unit as well. So if you want a unit named in game, remember, pop it in the comments, and I'm happy to name units. And we'll get started with this campaign in the next couple of days. Ta-ra for now.